if we were to replay Who is Chris Rock, what are your memories of that time and when we came to interview you?
My memories of Who is Chris Rock?
Yeah.
I remember you were a young, aspiring filmmaker. You came to the hood. You came to the hood with a camera crew. And I remember them niggas wanted to rob you with a camera. I remember they walked past like 2-3 times and was like, yo, what kind of camera is that? And you knew these niggas did not know or was not into cameras. And I was like, yo, Mike, you about to get robbed, bruh. And he was like, you think so? Nigga, I know so. So we did our little interview and kept it moving. I remember, to be serious, I remember that Chrissy was just starting out in stand-up. And I remember how everybody you interviewed in the house, myself, my mother, you interviewed Troy, one of my good friends, Troy, the OG. And we were so optimistic at the time about Chrissy's career. We were just excited about it. He was famous to us in the house just because he was doing stand-up. He wasn't TV famous. He wasn't like, you know, a celebrity by any means. But in the house, we were like, yo, Chrissy's famous. Like, he's doing stand-up. We just thought everybody else we knew was blue collar at the time in the hood, you know what I'm saying? Or a crackhead. So we just was like, Chrissy's the guy. Like, Chrissy's our hopes and dreams was kind of like riding with him, you know what I mean? I do remember that. I remember I remember having like a sense of pride. Like, oh shit, he's doing a documentary on Chrissy. Like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, what was interesting, going back, Judah Friedlander.
Judah Friedlander?
He was the camera person.
Oh shit, I do remember that. Yes. But he said that years later. Years later, when I started doing stand-up, Judah said, hey man, remember the guy that did I was the cameraman. And I'm like, oh shit, like,
Yeah.
See how everything is all connected, like in
It's
some
weird.
small way? Like, it's all kismet, man. It's the Most High's plan.
Yeah, so it's Judah Friedlander and Mike Yetter and myself came out to
Yes,
Brooklyn.
yes.
But and we were junior. I was a junior student at NYU, and Judah was in my dorm, or he would come. We were in class together. He was in a different dorm. I was at Rubin Hall. I forget what dorm he was in, right. But he said, I want to go and see if I can open mic at the comic strip.
At the strip. And you saw Chrissy.
As soon as I walked in, there was your brother,
right.
Like straight ahead. I said, shit, that's Chris Rock. I just saw him on the Joan Rivers show.
Now, Eddie Murphy, did he find you or just has helped you? Or
Now, they always talk about how Eddie helped me. What about the help I did for Eddie, okay?
I'm a fool, Chris, of course.
Red leather, my idea, okay? You know, his name, Eddie, he wanted to call himself Slappy Murphy, you know? I did that, no. Eddie found me. Eddie saw me at the comic strip in New York, and it's been great ever since. And I mean, he flew me out here, first class. I mean, hooked me up with all the right people. I mean, if I didn't know Eddie Murphy, I'd be in Brooklyn right now and ranking on somebody rather than doing a joke. It's like, your mother's butt's so big, when she bent over, they showed movies on it, you know?
It's a good joke. You said out there that you live at in the routine. You said that you live at home. Do you live at home?
Yes.
That's great. You should at 20.
Yeah, but I gotta get out of there. I did the movie. I did HBO. I get a lot of important calls. Like, my father picks up the phone downstairs in between calls. I'm like, I could be talking to a director. I'm like, Chris, could you be in Hawaii next week? I don't know. I'm gonna have to get to my agent. My father picks up the phone. Hey, boy, your poking beans are ready.
Did you like being in the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
It was fun working with Eddie, man. He's so good. He's so. This is like a dream. You don't know. You don't know how much this is like unreal to me right now.
Now, you're 20 years old. I want you to remember this when you're 40. Don't let it go to your head, because you're very talented. Stay good.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with a very special surprise with a very special friend at this message. It's such a pleasure.
Right, and I happened to be taking a class in documentary.
Right.
So I said, hey man, you know, would it be? I saw you on Joan Rivers, and what fascinated me was that he was basically my age, but he seemed so wise. Like his jokes were so intelligent for his age.
Yeah,
and I said,
Jordan's like that too. Jordan's like young guy, smart as fuck jokes. Like,
so I was like, hey, you know, would you mind if I made a movie about you? Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, bet. So we exchanged numbers. Next thing, about a week later, I'm in Brooklyn, and you know, his credits up until that point were I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, Beverly Hills Cop, Joan Rivers Show, and the Joe Franklin Show, which I think is is lost. I don't know. maybe we can get Chris to reenact his Joe Franklin set.
I remember that.
But they said, but what broke my heart was, your mom was like, yeah, he was on the Joe Franklin show. I guess he was in Crush Groove too. Is that a fact?
Yeah, he was in Crush Groove.
If you look really close on Crush Groove and Freezer.
When Blair Underwood and Run have the fight in the club, they fall on the floor, slide across the floor, and Chrissy's like at the phone, and he goes, "Yo, they fighting." Like he don't say it, he just goes like, and they go over, and the camera pans, and that's it. You see him for half a second, but again, he's my brother, so even that snippet in the movie, I was like, this motherfucker's doing it.
So that
now, if I did that today, if I was in a movie for like a split second, all my boys would be like, "Nigga, you ain't in that shit." But Chrissy, at the time, we was all poor, living in the hood. Like, yo, Chrissy in a movie.
So, next thing, I'm filming on your couch. I hope you got the plastic slip covers on.
Yes, I remember that.
We went to, me, him, Chris, Andre, Tony, all three of us went to the same public school, and Chris and Andre went to the same junior high. And he was out in Garrison Beach, Marine Park area. Very racial.
Now, people from Garrison Beach think that people from the South Bronx are stuck up.
I got a B on it. That's the only other thing I remember. I was like disappointed.
Damn,
I was like,
really?
I was like, man, this is A+ material.
You still have that in its entirety?
It's on YouTube. We're about to watch it.
You should re-release that. You should like do some kind of repackaging and re-release that. That'll be big.
Well, we just did.
Okay.
We're gonna watch it now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What do you think of Chris Rock?
So I'm walking down the street, saw a prostitute, asked her how much. She said, $300, I'll do anything you want. I said, bitch, paint my house.
Chris Rock? Chris Rock. Who's Chris Rock?
Hello, I'm Chris Rock, comedian. I work at the comic strip and all over the country. I'm 23 years old. I've been on several TV shows and movies such as Beverly Hills Cop 2, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. I was on Miami Vice where I played a detective. No, I didn't steal anything. Everybody's like, Miami Vice, sorry, what would you kill? No. One thing I learned about people is no matter how racist a person is, everybody likes babies. Everybody loves a baby. You can't hate a baby, man. I remember I'm pushing my little baby brother through the streets of South Carolina, and there's all these rednecks at the corner. And I'm pushing them. We get up to the corner, this redneck looks over and says, boy, that's a pretty niglet.
I'm very proud of Chris. He's not doing what I wanted him to do, but I'm still proud of him.
What do you mean?
Well, he was in school getting a degree in communications, and we didn't know about the comedy thing for a long time. He was going to school, working at Red Lobster, and sneaking into Manhattan doing comedy.
So I bumped into Brian Gummel the other day. I bet if somebody told Brian Gummel he was black, he'd have a heart attack.
I don't particularly care for him too much. I suppose it's a little, my opinion's a little jaded, but I saw him one time and he was very derogatory on fellow black actors.
Ray Don Chong, can Ray Don Chong sleep with a black man in any movie she does? Every movie she does, she sleeps with a white guy. I don't understand this. They interview Ray. She tries to hide her nationality. So, Ray, what nationality are you? Well, my mother's Portuguese and my father's half Mexican. I'm like, Ray, you're black, okay? Why don't you look in a mirror? Why don't you try to marry a Kennedy and find out how black you really are? I am not the biggest fan of Bill Cosby because Bill Cosby created Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids, the most degrading, most racist cartoon I've ever seen in my life. They actually had a guy walking around with a damn hat pulled over his head, okay? And another guy going to whip go to Jesus door. My banana is the baby. Say, hey, I'm illiterate. I hated that, man, because like I said, I went to a white school, and the kids would tease me about that. Everybody expects a black guy to talk so ignorant, man. Those little white kids, like, get out of my face, man. Nonsense. Even the show now. Even the Cosby Show, as nice as it is, the parent, the mother's a doctor, the mother's a lawyer, and the father's a doctor, they have a friend named Cockroach. These two people make about $300,000 a year. They should not know anybody named fucking Cockroach, okay?
So what? So you don't like Bill Cosby?
No, it's funny. But like I said, look at him. He always shoves some negative image in there. There's a doctor, father, doctor, lawyer, nice house, and a kid named Cockroach comes over. What the hell is that?
Chris Rock, the comedian?
Yeah.
Oh, he asked me out twice. Did you know that?
I'm young, I date. When you're young and you date, what do? You go to movies, you get pizza, you have sex, what else? You wait for periods. So all you do, you're constantly waiting for some girl's period to come. And you know the longer the period takes, the more special it is. You ever go to those period dinners? Buy a girl some period flowers? Give one of those period greeting cards because it came. That's right, a period is a man's best friend. That's right, for all you dudes, this blood's for you.
The period joke upset me because in my day, women didn't talk about things like that. And for him to make the joke, it was... I begged him not to do it at the Apollo. I said, Chris, don't do that joke because I'm going to be there.
Well, what's the
And
joke?
he did it. And then women my age were like, oh, you know, but everybody else thought it was funny.
It's topical. It has a point of view which I think a lot of people support. What's the big controversy in school now? Should children with AIDS be allowed to go to school? I don't think so. I mean, don't they send you home if you have the chicken pox? They send kids home for lice, okay? Lice, get out of here. AIDS, right in. It's on time. You can't deny the truth of the statements. And, you laugh and you think about it a little bit. Firstly, I think doctors are the lowest people on the face of the earth. You know why? Because they charge you for help. They charge you money for help. To save your life, they charge you a fucking fee to help you, okay? Nobody else does this. You know, the police don't go, okay, ma'am, it's a good thing you didn't get raped. That'll be $1,000. Every time I do a TV show, people call up and they complain. Suicide, you can't talk about that. Date rape, you can't. Abortion, this stuff, you can say it on the news, but you can't say it in a joke, in a joke forum. I'm never gonna change my style. Because if you don't make it your way, man, you feel like such an ass, man. Imagine how Pee Wee Herman feels. He has to do all this nonsense, man, to get attention. You can't just... Nobody cares if he says, how you doing? Nobody cares. Do Pee Wee. Do Pee Wee. Dude, if we had a black vice president, I would kill the president. I would go to his house and shoot him and tell his mother about it. And what are you gonna do to me? What's gonna happen to me? What are you gonna do? Put me in jail with a bunch of black guys and treat me like a hero for the rest of my life? I'll be the biggest star in jail, man. You sign an autograph, 97-KY. Here you go, man. Guys run up to me, Chris Rock! Chris Rock! You the brother that shot the president, ain't you? God damn, I'm so proud of you, man. Damn. I hope my children turn out to be just like you, man. You shot the... Yo, man, I was going to rape you till I realized who you were, man.
Was there a joke that you would not tell?
I never talk about old people. I think that's so... It's terrible. A lot of comedians refer to all old people as being senile. And, my grandma, she didn't even know we were there, I would never... That's about it.
So how do you feel about people who criticize? I mean, when someone says, well, there's some things that just aren't funny. I mean,
everything is funny, man. Everything is funny. Some of the funniest faces I've ever seen in my life have been at funerals, people trying to hold back tears. See, like a real macho guy have his head up in the air trying to hold back the tears. It's like the sickest faces in the world. It's sad too, but you put that face in another situation, it is the funniest thing in the world. Everything's funny. Life is a big joke, man. It's just everything that happens to you can be made fun of, man. I mean, like my friend, this guy KRS-One, 3-Down Productions said, life is only serious if you base it on competition and money. My family, I take very serious. I always want them to have the best. But taking like comedy too serious? No, because you know why? Because it's a joke. I tell jokes. I'm going to sit here and get upset because, jokes. They're jokes. It's not serious. Politicians are doing serious stuff. Doctors are doing serious work. I'm telling jokes, man. I'm getting older. Every dollar I make, I thank God for. It's jokes. It's a joke.
In America today, people think they know the way. So they lie is
cool and had a ball. Yo, what's up? I'm Chris Rock, comedian, working at the comic strip. What else?
And when did you start doing comedy?
I started doing comedy about 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
When you were in
Well,
school?
Crush
still?
Groove, when was Crush Groove?
Was I doing comedy then?
Yeah, you went
Yeah,
comedy
yeah.
then because you had done Joe Franklin. It's about 5 years, I would say.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how did you start? I mean, what made,
tell
what
the
made you think
story.
you were funny?
I don't know. I just, big Eddie Murphy fan.
No, can I tell the story?
It's just,
He always stood outside ranking on people.
Yeah,
And he used to
good.
draw a crowd in my yard. And they dared him to go to improv. He never told
Comic
us.
strip.
Oh, comic strip?
The
So he-
catch.
Well,
wasn't it?
whichever. He went down and he tried out and he was so good. And he started going back, never telling us anything.
He's coming home real late.
And telling us that he was at work, whatever. In fact, at one point, he was going to school. It was at Kingsborough, going to school, leave school, go to work, leave work, go do comedy, and then leave there and go and sleep in his car in front of the job or something like that. I know it was a vicious cycle going on there for a while.
And what happened? Eddie Murphy saw you one night.
One night, I wanted to meet him. The guy at the club, the owner, introduced me to him, and he says to me, "When are you going up?" And I was like, the last guy on the totem pole. I wasn't even going up that night. And I said, "I'm not up." He said, "Yeah, put him on next." They put me on, and I had a good set, did real well. Sneeze, shaking, real scared.
And then that Sunday.
Right. So he gave me his phone number, and wow, you're real funny, or whatever. And to it, that was a Friday. So that Sunday, he took me out to see She's Gotta Have It.
Now he called here that Sunday because I spoke to them.
And I went out, him and his mother and all the guys. Talking about LA. He said, "I'm going to LA tomorrow. You want to come?"
No, what happened is he comes running in the house about 2 o'clock in the morning, ran upstairs and woke me up. "Mom, I'm going to California." I said, "No, you're not." He said, "Yeah, I'm going to California, I'm going to California." And I got very upset. And I said, "Well, you can't go with those people because Eddie Murphy might be on drugs or something." I said, "You can't go with people you don't even know and you don't have enough money and blah, blah, blah." And I really fussed. He was grabbing clothes, running down here to the laundry room, washing about 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. And that was Sunday or Monday. Monday, you were supposed to leave. And I just put my foot down. I said, "Well, you're not going." And I got dressed and I went to the dentist. Because I just assumed that he was, wouldn't go. His father got up, took him out, met Eddie, put him on a plane, and sent him to L.A.
Called up when I got out there. Sweet L'Hermitage Hotel. Ooh, the best. Sweet. It's
A big
food.
article in the Daily News
Article in Daily News.
Oh, about what?
Just
about that Sunday, how Eddie met him and took him out.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Where do I see myself 5 years from now? Hopefully, God willing, I'm doing big concerts 5 years from now. That's where I hope to be, and hopefully I have like some deal with it. I have a deal with HBO now, but hopefully it gets broader. I would like to do like a lot of cable specials. I like the form of cable TV because there's no censors, basically. I mean, you got censors, but there's nothing really. It's a lot more freedom. So I hope to be doing that.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. The Ruttles. You ever see the Ruttles?
Oh, yeah.
Mike Dennis, what up, brother?
Tony Rock.
First and foremost, I want to say this. Mike Dennis, never Hollywood me again in your life. Don't do that. Don't Hollywood me. People change around people, and then they say that person changed, right? Like the person that's the celebrity, so to speak, is trying to stay the same, but then the people around them change.
That's true.
Right? My manager called me like, "Hey, Mike Dennis reached out to me and said he wants to do an interview with you this Friday." I said, "Why the fuck is Mike Dennis calling you? That nigga got my number. I know Mike for 30 years. Don't Hollywood me. You help me stay the same. Help me stay sane."
Okay.
So if you act Hollywood, then I'm like, why the fuck is he? Like, don't do that. Just hit me. Like, nigga, I'm coming through Friday late show. Let's talk. I'd be like, bet.
Okay, well.
He's like, "Oh, Mike Dennis is calling on your behalf." Nigga, Mike Dennis? That nigga know me. Don't Hollywood me, man. Help me stay the same motherfucker from Decatur Street.
It's also to let the club know that we're going to be coming here.
Fuck
we're going to be doing
that.
all that. Yeah, all right.
Just go, "Hey, nigga, I'll be there at 10.
Okay.
Mike, I got you.
All right, I'll DM you next
There you
time.
go, yeah.
All right.
'Cause if you change, then I got to change. Then I'm going to be like, talk to my people. You don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
Nah,
Then they gonna have to pat you down and shit. They gonna be like, nigga,
Man, all right.
they gonna make you take your hat off. Nigga. So help me stay the same dude from Decatur Street.
All right, the same. All right, so hey everybody, this is Mike, and you're watching the
That's your way
Reelblack
of letting me know
podcast.
you're gonna edit that whole shit out because you started all over again. He gonna cut that whole shit right there.
Well, we're uncut.
Go. What's up, Mike? How you doing?
I still have to introduce you because
Oh,
a
God.
lot of niggas don't know who you
No,
are.
niggas know me, nigga.
A lot of people know
If
me.
it's us two sitting here, guess which one they know? They're like Tone and that nigga. Yo,
You gonna do me like
I'm fucking with
Monique?
y'all because I know Mike so long. It's like, dude, but this is my guy right here.
You're gonna do me like Monique did me.
Oh, come, bro.
She,
I ain't saying nothing there.
Go watch the Monique interview. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay,
Yeah, I got sunned.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not touching that.
Huh? It's all good. It's all love. Yeah. So we're with Tony Rock, who just did some amazing shows here in Philadelphia at the Helium Comedy Club, and this is our first sit down. I've talked to you. You've been in films about your brothers, but we've yet to make a film about you. So
No, I was in Chris's original film. I was in Jordan's original film.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's kind of cool that I just got to, give my little 2 cents on both of them.
This is the first time that I have on the opportunity to talk about you, specifically about your life, your career, what you're up to, what your vision is for comedy and rocking the world. So, before we get into today, just, like how, the typical question is like, growing up, did you always know you wanted to be a comedian?
Yes, I always knew I wanted to be a comedian. 2 jobs, as I say it jokingly, but I'm actually kind of serious. 2 jobs I really wanted my whole life that I really desired as a child. I wanted to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. So every day I get on stage, it's like, yo, I don't know how many people walking this earth have the job they envisioned as a child, but I am one of those people. So every day is a good day for me.
Wow. And what informed that? Like, what made you feel that that's what you wanted to do?
Just the love of it, how I was attracted to it from early on. Just, listen, I give the cliche answer, but it was like listening to the comedy albums. And then it was, I got uncles that are super duper funny, right? My father's the oldest of 15. And we would have cookouts at the house. And I just remember my uncles telling stories, and everybody in the backyard captivated by this guy telling a story. And I just was like, a kid just looking at like this guy, I thought it was a superpower, like how everybody is just focused on this person telling a story. And I just thought like, wow, if I could do that, if I could just hold people's attention in just telling a story, I thought it was really cool. Then came listening to the comedy albums, and it was like, oh, he's doing what Uncle G was doing or Uncle Poochie was doing. And then I would go to school and tell the jokes that I heard on Richard Pryor's albums and Red Fox's albums and get in trouble because I was using blue language. And my mother was, my mother's a school teacher, and she taught at the school I went to. So teachers would tell my mother, like, he's doing Bill Cosby in class, or he's doing Richard Pryor in class. He's doing George Carlin in class. And my mother said, this is this guy's job. He does this for a living. And that's when it was like, okay, well, that's what I'm going to do.
Right. Now, was Chris doing the same kind of thing simultaneously, or?
No, he's a few years older, so I don't know what his day in school was like. But then when he started, it made it very real for me. Because everybody else was just an image. Like, I didn't know Richard Pryor. I didn't know George Carlin. But when the guy in the next room started doing stand-up, it was, oh, I actually know a person now that does this, so I know I can do it now. And he was very encouraging. My brother always, like, I don't want to say it. I always let him say it, but I'll say it for this interview because he always says, hey, Tone's the funnier one. Because I was the funny kid. Chrissy wasn't funny as a child. He learned, like, the format of stand-up. I was the funny kid. So when he did it, it was like, okay, this is tangible. I can really do this.
Wow. So we're going back.
We call Chris Chrissy in the house, just so everybody watching is like, Chrissy? That's what we call him in the house.
So the first time we met was in 1989 when I came to Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
My teeth have been fixed since then. I had
praise Jesus.
1989 Bed-Stuy teeth.
All right. Well, once again, we must cue the.
If you could imagine what teeth looked like in Bed-Stuy in 1989, them shits was in my mouth.
Is that the best part about blowing up in show business? You get orthodontic.
It's up there. It's up there. This top row right here, that shit is beautiful, bro.
It is. And I'm up close.
Yeah. So that's definitely a perk. It does not. I don't.
All right. So we just looked at the old.
Oh, you just put the old picture up?
Yeah, that's the only edit.
I think I had the flat
Otherwise,
top then too, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And I had the janky camera, so the colors a little shifting. We were not in HD in 1989.
So congratulations to you. We both come a long way.
Thank you. So, do you remember your first time on stage?
First time on stage, I believe it was the comic strip, and I had a horrible set. I didn't bomb. I just didn't get any laughs, which is worse than bombing. Booing and getting you off the stage is actually a response. Like, get out of here, but that's like, okay, at least I know how they felt. Sitting in the room quietly not laughing is worse. Because it's like, damn, I see you. You're not giving me any reaction. So it's like 5 minutes of just me talking, and the room sounded like this. But I could see the people. So that's worse than bombing. And then I didn't go on stage again for maybe a year. And in that time, I was like, okay, I got to really, I can't fuck around and think I'm funny with my friends. I'll be funny on stage because these aren't my friends in the room. And that's when I started kind of trying to figure out the science of it all, which was the best part.
Yeah, and you definitely know how to work a room.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the most magical things about seeing Tony live is that he instantly takes control of whatever the energy is before it starts.
Right, but it goes back to my uncle in the backyard. Okay. So I know how to get everybody in now. Like I'm not gonna say I could never bomb because bombing it happens and you can't control it. But what I do on stage is it's very unlikely that I'll bomb them because I know how to bring them in. I know how to really reel them in with just a word or two and then start my material after that. So now they're so intense and so they're paying such attention to me that I got them in for the rest of the ride.
Does it change when you're working a small venue like this versus when you're doing the arenas with the rest of the guys?
Yeah. Because here, this is intimate. Like, the first table's right there. When I went on tour with Mike Epps, it's 18,000 people. I can't say, hey, man, you guys married? Because it's people 50, 60 rows back. It's like we can't see what's going on. So you can't do the crowd work like you do in intimate settings like this. And shout out to Mike Epps always because every year for the last 3 years, they asked Mike Epps, who do you want to take on tour with you? And for the last 3 years, he said Tony Rock, so he will always get props from me.
Yeah, that was my next question. Like, when you were first starting to learn the science of working a room and the art of stand-up, who were your mentors? Who really looked out for you and gave you guidance?
Ooh, who gave me guidance coming up? A lot of guys that aren't household names, but they worked the comic strip. So the strip was Mecca to me when I started out. The strip was... So guys like Buddy Bolton, you probably don't know, John Bush, Greg Giraldo. Greg Giraldo, may he rest in peace, was one of the guys that said to me the night I got my first Friday night set, Friday night 10 o'clock show. You don't get the Friday night 10 o'clock show until the club and the managers and the wait staff are all like, he's ready. And I got my first Friday night 10 o'clock show and I saw it. They had the lineup posted for the week. And me and Sherrod are in the lobby jumping up and down going crazy over a Friday night set that's probably going to pay me $20. And Greg Giraldo's in the back of the club, and he said, hey, man, I hope you guys never lose that excitement. Because I saw how excited you guys were just now for a 10 o'clock spot, and it made me remember how excited I was for it. I've been doing it so long that I forgot that excitement. And you guys made me have a flashback for a quick second, so never lose that. And that's why to this day, every gig, my agent calls, hey, Philadelphia. I'm in the house like, Philadelphia, let's go, baby, let's go. Because I'm just always excited about being able to do this.
Now, there's an art to it. As we sit on the stage, I mean, Patrice O'Neal talked about it in the interview we did with him here.
Top 5 Dead or Alive.
Absolutely. Just how you move the attention to the room while keeping it still focused on you,
right?
But keep the energy moving so that everybody feels involved. I mean, can you speak to that?
Right. So I can't tell you the science of it all, but I know sometimes it's as simple as the conversation is here with this person here, but then you talk to this side of the room because this person already has this room. By talking to this person here, you have this half of the room. So now you go to this side of the room and say, hey, I just asked him if he got, so now they're in. And then you go back for another question, and then they're in now because they want to see where it's going, and they're already locked in. So you maneuver strategically to keep the room engaged. Answer the phone. You keep the room engaged by maneuvering. So a lot of comics you see, they do that pace where they keep it moving to keep you engaged. It's like a tennis match. You watch the ball, you watch a tennis match, they're like this because they want to see everything. So when you do that pace on stage, the audience is so locked in now, they don't want to turn away because they don't know where you're going to be if they look away. You're moving. That's why a lot of guys that stand still, they can look, and they know if they look away, you're still there. So now they start turning to their friends to have a conversation. They over here because they know he's going to be right there. So the movement is to engage them, to keep them engaged.
And what's the best part of what's the best laugh that you can hear in a room?
So many. Crowd work is a great laugh. Where you top of the dome, if somebody says something, you say something right back. That's a great laugh because it was so organic. It wasn't written. It wasn't planned. That's a great laugh. Telling a new joke for the first time and it works, like it booms. That's a great laugh. Just in general, because most comics write their own material. So just to know that you wrote this is something that you concocted in your head. You said it to a room full of strangers, and they rewarded you with laughter. That's a great laugh. Pardon the fly flying past right now.
Right, yeah, we are in HD,
Yeah,
despite the fact that you're watching this on your phone. So if it's rolling back and forth, or if you hear somebody in the back who can't control themselves because of something you said,
What was the question?
what's the better energy for you to keep
well,
to like
when
take
I'm-
it to the next level?
When I'm on with Mike in the big tour and I say a joke and that shit hits and goes 50, 60 rolls up and back and then comes back, that shit is like a drug, man. That shit is like goosebumps. Like, wow, I just said, and you have to literally wait for an arena to take it all in before you say the next thing because you got to wait for it to go. It's like a wave around the room.
It
so
literally moves.
It literally moves the room. And then you say something that's like, you get to your big, like, I know this is going to kill him, when you have those bits, and you got to stand there and, like, let that shit travel through the arena before you say anything else. So that's always, it's almost mind-blowing that you could do that with just, a joke.
So words. We're not going to give away your act, but there are some current event things. I mean, This is the first time I'm seeing you since the pandemic.
Right.
How did the pandemic affect you? What's your feeling about vax and all this stuff?
The pandemic changed my life. I had a son during the pandemic. My child was born in May. The country shut down in March. So that was life-changing. Every day that's life-changing. It gave me time to write. It gave me time to get ready for coming out of the pandemic because I knew, like, I looked at it like everybody's locked up, right? Especially in the industry. Like, once the floodgates open, who's going to be ready to go as soon as the gates open? And I was like, I'm going to be the guy ready to go as soon as the gates open. In every facet, I'm going to write the project I want to write and be ready to go. I'm going to have the social media platform ready to go. I'm going to have the material ready to go. So as soon as the gates open, I'm going to be the guy out to the strong lead. As opposed to, I know a lot of comics probably just sat back and waited like, well, let's see what happens. And then the gates opened and they had to kind of ramp it all up again. I was ready to go. I was in the starter's block ready to go the whole time.
All right. Now, I mean, the folks with masks, not masks, I mean, does that make you comfortable, uncomfortable? It is. I mean,
No.
like, where are we? Like, it's like the whole vaccine thing's been politicized. It's been, everybody has an opinion on it. I mean, what's your feeling on?
Well, for the room, I want people in the room to do whatever they want to do to feel comfortable. So if you feel more comfortable wearing the mask, please do. If you feel like you want to take it, put it on your neck and take it down, go right ahead. I want you to be comfortable. The mask mandates, and that's one thing. The vaccine is weird. It's weird because I would rather it be, okay, the vaccine's out there. If you want to get it, it's your choice. I would rather it wasn't, you can't come in here without the vaccine. You can't go to school without the vaccine. It's kind of like, I don't like the forcing of it all. That makes me feel uncomfortable. Because if there's something wrong with it, and to be forcing, then a lot of people are going to be in trouble.
Right, mass inoculations and then, recall.
Right. Come on, this is America. We've seen baby powder recalled. We've seen fucking way worse things, way smaller things recalled. You know what I'm saying? Right. People got cancer from weed spray. People got, in trouble from things that we didn't even think were that serious. People are in trouble. Right. So, let's take some time with it. Let's not force it so soon.
Fair enough. So you're just advocating freedom of choice because we're on YouTube. They're banning people saying they're banning anti-vaxxers, but to say.
So I'm watching my words. That's why I'm gotta be careful what you say.
We're not anti. We're just saying freedom of choice.
Exactly.
This is America.
Exactly.
This is America. So R. Kelly going to be going to jail, but Bill Cosby's out. Any thoughts, feelings? as a black man, as a black person in America, how do we pick our heroes from now on? And how do we go to barbecues or, I mean, how does it affect, are you able to separate the art from the artist in cases like this? And as a black person, how does it affect our psyche when we see people that have had such large success that we tend to idolize?
Damn, that's like 9 questions in one. But okay, here's one. I have always separated the art from the person.
Gotcha.
And that started when I realized like a lot of people in sports particularly weren't speaking out on certain issues. And then it was like, well, I like this dude as a football player. Like, why would I expect a football player to say something political, to even know the stakes what the stakes are? Or, this guy's a rapper. Why would I expect this guy that raps to say something poignant about this thing? So then I realized, okay, if you're going to listen to this person, just listen to the music. Don't get involved in what their beliefs are or what they do when they leave the studio. That's none of your business. What they into, but now something like as heavy as R. Kelly, then I can't do that. I can't say, well, I just listen to the music. If he's a fucking child molester, that's something else. No, now that affects, everything. Because I can't say, well, the music's still good. The music is still good. But it's like, dude, come on, man. You're going to just turn a blind eye to this? And then I don't like when people have blind loyalty to something without in particularly, which is weird, black women. Black women have so much loyalty to R. Kelly. They're like, them girls knew what the fuck they was doing. Wait, you saying a 14-year-old girl knew what she was doing with a fucking 40-year-old man? Like, you like the songs that much that you can't even see, you can't even step outside of it and judge it, unbiased? So that's why I separated the artistry from the person a long time ago.
I mean, to be fair, Step in the Name of Love is kind of a great record.
Nigga, have you heard 12 Play? But now 12 Play has a whole different meaning. That bitch was 12. He was playing with her. Hey, write that down. I'm gonna have to keep that.
We'll let that one settle. I did want to talk to you about fatherhood and all that stuff, because last time we talked, it was always about relationship advice.
Listen,
now it's a different relationship.
It's the best thing. It's so crazy to look at my son and see the human form of the best thing I've ever done in my life. The walking, talking representation of how God is great is walking in my living room. It's so incredible. And the nigga looked like me. So it's like, damn, I made this. It's the best thing I ever did in my life.
You were ready for fatherhood.
I was ready. That's the thing. I was ready for it. Right. I didn't just get a phone call like, hey, we need to talk. This is Keisha from Cleveland. Like, I didn't get that. I got, my house is ready, my money's ready, my life is ready, my mental space is ready. Let's do it. It's the best thing ever, ever. Shout out to all the fathers out there that are real fathers, because some people are fathers and some people just have kids. I'm not talking to the people that just have kids. I'm talking to the fathers. Shout out.
Okay, so winding it down, where can people see you next? What's social media, website, all that good stuff?
TonyRockComedy.com, Tony_Rock on Instagram, Tony Rock on Twitter. Tour dates all year. I'm about to go back out with Mike again in what's this? This is October. November. End of November. Me and Mike are going back out. It's me, Mike, Quake, some more, I believe. Lavelle's on a few dates. I think Gary Owens is on a few dates. So look for that. I'm happy again to be out with those guys. Those guys are like guys that I looked up to, and now my name is literally on the fucking marquee with people I watched on TV before I even started doing stand-up. So that's just a blessing in itself.
Definitely a blessing. Well, I'm going to ask you one more question,
yes,
but thank you for hanging out with us, and
always.
Always.
Next time, don't holler with me. Just say, nigga, I'm coming through.
You got it.